Abortion rights have been taken away by a few states, Alabama and Missouri most recently. People are getting outraged about this. I think everyone should just calm down. This is a good thing, people. Here's why. It's progression going back to women not having the right to an abortion. I mean, you start off not having the right to choose. Then you progress forward by giving them the right to choose. Then you progress forward even more by going back to the beginning. No right to choose. Patriarchy strikes. But it's not going backwards. You're back at the beginning because it's more of a full circle that's bringing you back to the beginning. And that's forward progress. I mean, nothing creates more forward progress than going around in circles. I'm excited to progress forward even further into the past when women don't have the right to vote again. It's exciting to start sliding down the slippery slope of taking away women's rights to have sovereignty over their own bodies. Like, where might we be in 15 years? We progress by taking away a woman's choice when to be pregnant. Then maybe we progress by taking away her choice of when to have sex in the first place. Kind of a Bill Cosby-esque inspired direction. The gender pay gap is another big concern of mine because the gap isn't big enough. But the good news is taking away a woman's right to choose is a big step in the right direction of widening the gap. I personally feel women should have the right to not have any rights. And leading that charge recently is Alabama, where 25 men in the Senate made the decision to take away a woman's right to have an abortion when they passed the anti-abortion bill. No exceptions for rape or incest victims. Every single yes vote was cast by white men. Patriarchy strikes again, this time rescuing women from the toxic masculinity that wants to give them respect and choices. It's hard to imagine anything more toxic. The Alabama governor, Ivey, then signed the bill into law. Now, although she's allegedly a woman, she's obviously controlled by the 25 men around her, as a woman should be. The patriarchy strikes again. And she tweeted out her reason for signing it. And in it, she said, "Every life is precious, in that every life is a gift from God." Beautifully said. And it also shows the separation between church and state has never been stronger. Interestingly, just one day after they signed the bill into law, because every life is a sacred gift from God, Alabama killed a man on death row. And that proves Alabama's governor is open-minded enough to not be a hypocrite. And it definitely doesn't raise any suspicion about a power-hungry agenda behind the abortion ban that's so eloquently framed around human preciousness to manipulate public perception. I mean, these are politicians. They wouldn't deceive the public for their own power-hungry motives. Politicians are typically the most compassionate, trustworthy members of our society based on what they tell us. You'll feel inspired when you look into the fact that Governor Ivey has overseen 7 executions in the 2 years she's been governor because these people Alabama has killed, they might have started performing abortions in their all-male prisons if they weren't killed. So I think Governor Ivey was doing God's work in the killing of God's sacred gifts on death row. It's almost like she's an abortionist performing abortions on God's children. And that form of abortion is God's work. And God's obviously a man, so she's just a woman being choicelessly controlled by more men around her once again, as it should be. Patriarchy strikes again. Toxic masculinity is leaving women to their own devices and letting them make their own choices. I mean, it would be negligent to leave a 3-year-old home alone for the weekend. So now compassionate masculinity is controlling women because they don't know any better. And the best way to control women is by taking away their rights. Besides, that's what Mr. God wants. So let's all just relax about the abortion ban, people. Quit getting stressed out by thinking for yourself. And let me know what you think below. Do you think states should have the right to take away a woman's right to choose, or do you think they've gone too far? And if you feel really angry, just be sure to leave the caps lock key on while you type. That way you'll feel more significant about yourself.